Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today I'm here for a video that is a little bit late because we are already in August. However, I usually make a video of my top pens for the first half of the year. So the pens that I got during the first half of the year. So I should be publishing this in the 1st July or something like that. And we are well in August now, but I had no time to do it before, so let's do it now. I usually make this video like a top 8 or a top 6, but I could not do that. This one is a very long top. It is a top 12. And that happens mostly because during the beginning of 2021 until the end of June 2021, I received 77 pens. So I'm getting really crazy about pens. I need to slow down, but we have to notice that from these 77 pens, 33 were Kaweco pens. So that explains a little bit because I am actively collecting all the Kaweco variations that I can get my hands onto. So it's the only pen that I really actively collect everything. This video, as I usually do for this type of videos, will not have the writing sample. It is just showing you the top 12. So I will start from the lowest on the ranking, the number 12, and I'll go up to the number 1. I have to say that this is my ranking as I think of it today. If I do that after 1 month or 2 weeks, maybe I will feel slightly different and some pens can go one step higher or lower on the top, but this is how I feel about them today. So this is my top 12 pens of the first half of 2021, and let's do it. So the first pen that is on this top is the Lamy Ion in dark green. This is a pen that I have to say it quite impressed me. This is a pen that I got from Appleboom for review. I didn't do the review yet, I'm sorry about that. But this is a pen that I got as a loan and I liked it so much that I had to buy it. So I really bought it from Appleboom and now it's mine. I don't have to send it back. This is a pen that I find quite fun. It's not... The nib seems maybe a little bit small to the overall size of the pen. It is all metal. I have to say that I like the looks of this pen a lot. I think that Lamy has a point with the Lamy Safari and so on, which are kind of variations of the same pen. They have the other line, the kind of the Lamy 2000, they have other models, but let's put in Safari, the 2000, the Lamy CP1, which is a very slim one that I would almost call it, it's kind of the equivalent of the Lamy 2000, but as a portable pen. And now they came up with this pen recently. The Lamy Ion is a very, very beautiful pen in my opinion. It has a specific design. It may not be beautiful for everyone, but I like it. It has this kind of clip. It was released recently and it came in black and silver. And then they released 2 special colors or limited colors, the red and the blue. And this year they released the green, and I have to say that this green is amazing. I like it much more than the black. Even the nib is just slightly different from the Lamy Safari, although the nibs are interchangeable, but this one is a little bit more rounded. I think they really created a new design that you can easily see. Okay, this is completely new, but this is Lamy, and this is something that I value a lot, so I'm quite happy with this pen, the way it looks. When I make the review of it, I will show the Ion next to the CP1 and the 2000, and we will talk more about the design. But I have to say that this pen is on my top 12, and it is the number 12 of today. For number 11, we have the Kaweco Art Sport Pearl Orange. This pen was released a few years ago already. I don't remember exactly, sorry. 2018, 2000, maybe 2018, I'm not sure. I would need to check my records, but it's not important for this video. I just wanted to say that this pen was released before, but I only got it this year. This pen is part of the Kaweco Art Sport collection, which means they are pens made of resin that is turned resin instead of injection molded like the ABS Sport that you usually see. So it is a very interesting pen. It is much more expensive. I think maybe a little bit too expensive, but they sell out. So most of the colors are completely sold out, and I bought it. So if I bought it, I think it's expensive for what it is, but I actually buy it, so I buy all of them, so I think maybe they are not that expensive. Okay, that's just a detail. We have this pen, and I wanted to say that I only got this one this year, and I have to say this material of this Kaweco Sport, which is actually the same kind of Kaweco Sport pen that we see usually, I have to say that the material on this pen is really amazing. How it reflects the light. I think it's one of the best looking resins that I've seen on a Kaweco Sport. So I'm quite happy with that. And I have to say that one of my favorite in terms of color is this Art Sport from Generation 2. This is the Amecitrin. Beautiful yellow with white swirls, but then some pearlescency also. So this color is very beautiful. And I think that these are two of the most beautiful Kaweco Art Sport. I have to say that I didn't even ink this pen yet, but I think I can put it securely or safely, I'm not sure the right word, in this top 12 because I have many Kaweco Sports and I know how it will write, I can predict that. But just for the looks, it has its place in the top 12 of first half of 2021. Now we will jump to the first the first Japanese pen on this list, and I have to say there is only one Japanese brand in this list and it has two pens, so they are doing great. This is a pilot pen. We have two pilot pens in this video. We have two because I'm showing you this one now, but I will be showing you another one for comparison, but there is another higher on the top. So this is the pen number 10. It is a beautiful pen that I always wanted to have, and it is a pilot Fermo from Japan made with in green. I'm not sure if you can really see that this is green. I know I like green, so there is always lots of green pens. You can see it's much darker than this Lamy, but Okay, it looks even darker than the black Lamy. So I'm not sure if you can see, but this is a dark green color. It is a beautiful pen. It is a pen that I wanted to have since many times now, even before I knew that were retractable pens. I saw this one in a work interview, and the person that was conducting that interview, he had this pen in his hands. I never saw a retractable pen before, and I thought it was amazing. I didn't get the job, but I got the pen inside my brain and I wanted to have it, so it is a beautiful pen. This pen has an additional history, is that this pen belonged to the YouTuber, the pen reviewer Wasky Squirrel. He had this pen and he didn't like it that much. So I traded two of my pens for this pen from him, and I am really happy with it. So thank you for having this pen, and it has a little bit more value because it is a pen that I always wanted. It is the color that I wanted, and it came from a pen reviewer that I really admire. So I'm quite happy with that. For comparison, I just want to bring here a Pilot Capless. This is the green Carbonesque. It's also called green Kazuri. And this is a beautiful, also green shade. I think they are quite comparable. This one has a twist action nib. This one is a click. But they are the same pen. Overall, the nib unit is the same in both pens. You can interchange them, but they have slightly different mechanisms. So this one closes like this, and this one will retract like this. And this is so satisfying to just rotate this knob. So I'm really happy for having this pen finally in my collection, and this pen is the number 10. Let's go to number 9. Pen number 9 is quite a special pen that was sent to me for review by the creator of this brand, whose name is Fabio Morici, and he created in Italy. And this is the first Italian pen of this video, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Italian pens on the top 12, so this means something. This is a pen that is called Duquesa 1935 Antiqua in yellow. So this is a pen that is kind of amazing in some ways. You may think that the design is not the most perfect. I really like it. It has a vintage design. You can see like the black of the Duquesa logo has bled through a little bit. It has this steel nib, also with that Duquesa engraving and the crown. And the pen is quite good, and it has a nib that is quite flexible. So I really enjoy this pen. It is fun. I'm not in love with flexible nibs, but I think this is a fun pen. The most interesting thing about this pen is its concept, and I really like pens that have or a history behind them, or they have a strong concept behind them, and this one has both. So this Duquesa brand was created in 1935, I guess, and it was, you have the review of this pen on the channel, so you can check it. I will link it below and leave also a link for the store where you can buy one of those. This pen was created. The brand is a brand from the 1930s in Italy. The brand closed many years ago, and one day the owner of this brand found a large lot of nibs, unused steel nibs for the Duquesa. So he then decided why not to create a fountain pen around the nib. We usually do usually pen makers do the opposite. Many times they create a design and then they get a nib to put inside. In this time it was different. They found this stack of old nibs and they created a pen with a vintage look that could fit this nib. I'm now trying to align this lever with the clip, and yes, it aligns, but it has several entries like that. Now the lever is aligned. It has a little details that I don't like so much, like these. The lever gets out a little bit, but the concept, as I was telling you, is amazing, because after getting the nibs, they went and searched for the levers and they searched for the clips. So nibs, clips and levers are all vintage, and then they decided on a design to put those parts into. So I think this is an amazing thing. It's like having a vintage pen that's not quite vintage, but it's here to honor the vintage idea. It is a little dirty inside. Okay, don't look, and you can see it through the material. I know that this color may not be the best looking one, but I'm quite crazy for yellow, so I asked for the yellow pen. But I can say that they have some blacks and marble blacks and marble black and white variations that seem much nicer. However, as I like yellow, I prefer this one. And I have to say that I also have another modern pen with an uncommon filling system, which is this Marlin. It is a much more expensive pen, special edition. And this is Marlin Aureus Silver, which also has kind of a lever filler, although it doesn't have a lever. It has a slit here where you introduce a coin that makes the same thing as the lever does here. So it's interesting because it is another Italian pen that actually has the same kind of filling system, except this one has an external lever and this one you have to press it with a coin. So I think, I don't know, I really like this kind of different concepts. I think this pen was an amazing creation. As I told you, it may not be the best pen ever, but the concept behind it is one of the best I ever saw on fountain pen. So I really like it. For pen number 8, we have something that is completely different from what I showed you so far. It is this pen. This is the Gravitas Stainless Steel Skull Edition. This is another pen that I didn't review yet, and I'm sorry for that. But this pen is amazing. It's really amazing. It is a very heavy pen. It's made of steel, and this one comes from Ireland, by the way, and it has skulls all over. And I find that this skull pattern is so nice. I like skulls. I think this is so nice. This pen looks like a Gothic pen with a steel section. It is heavy. It does not post, but you don't need to have an extra large like this pen. It doesn't make sense, and it will become back heavy. It is so well made. It is so well balanced. I don't find the metal sections slippery, so maybe that's me. It's not for everybody, but I think that this is one of the most amazing pens I have. I really like it. It's like an independent manufacturer that makes these pens. This is a cartridge converter pen, and it comes ready to write with a converter and cartridges and very long threads here. And I think that the only thing that I would prefer it to have would be a specially engraved with their logo or with a skull. I would prefer it with a skull nib. This is a Yovo nib, a blank one, so it only says M. but I would prefer it to have that engraving, the brand, which, where is the logo of the brand? It is on the it's here. It's this thing that could be on the nib or maybe a skull. For comparison with this pen, I brought a pen that has not much to do with it, except it's made of steel also, and it is a Kaweco Supra. This is Kaweco Supra without the extension part, and you can see overall it reminds me a little bit, but the steel on this one is smooth, this one is kind of brushed, it has a texture, and it has the engraving, and when you compare both pens, you can see that this is a giant compared with the Kaweco Supra, although the nibs are of the same size. But this is an amazing pen, not a pocket pen in any way. A pocket pen could not be of this size, but it is a pen that I really enjoy. This one has this clip that we can put or not, this one doesn't, so it may roll out of a table. But what can I say? If it doesn't land on the nib, it will not break if it rolls out of a table. This pen is really great. So this was number 8 on my top 12. Let's go for number 7. Number 7 is a pen that is not mine, is a pen from Appleboom that I have as a loan. I will not keep it, it's very expensive, I will send it back, but I have to say that I like it a lot. This is the Scribo Piuma. The color is Utopia. It is a beautiful material. This Scribo Piuma Utopia is much nicer, in my opinion, than the Scribo Field that has a bulky cap and a bulky barrel here. People say that it's very comfortable to write with, but I don't really like the shape. This one is a beautiful pen, nice material, looks very nice. It has a little Piuma, a feather on the top. It has a clip that is quite strong, and then it has a facet on the barrel that goes into the cap, and you have it also on the other side. When you look at it, it doesn't align perfectly, and my guess is that when you use the pen for a while more, I'm using it very carefully because this is not mine, it will be sent back to Appleboom, so if you want to check it, you'll find the link below and the discount code and so on. My feel is that when you use the pen a lot, it will wear down a little bit, and when you do that for some more times, it will eventually line up, instead of having a pen perfectly lined up when it's new, and then when it's used it gets out of alignment. If you ask me which version do I prefer, I would prefer this one, if this is what will happen. You have the Scribo there, and it has a section of the same material, a little ring there. It has quite a big step, but the section is big, so you will not hold over the step. And you have this nib that is quite long and narrow, and says there, field writing. It is a gold nib, and it is quite good. The Scribo is a brand that uses, that has many of the people that worked at Omas. They used some design features. As I think, they use some machinery, and we have here Omas, Milord, and when we look at both nibs, the Scribo is bigger. I think there is something in common in their shapes, and actually when you're writing with them you can find similarities because both have some kind of softness. We're not talking about flexibility, but they are soft, they are really pleasant to write. So this pen is really good to write for a long time. I really like it. I think it is one of the great pens that were released recently, As I told you, it's a little bit expensive. I will not buy it from Appleboom to keep it in my collection, but it is good enough to reach this top 12. The pen on number 6 is another Italian pen. So Scribo is an Italian brand also, and now we are going to another Italian pen, which is Leonardo. And we have here the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande Pura Grigio Anthracite. So this is the Leonardo, let's put it short, Leonardo Pura in anthracite color. This pen is beautiful. They created this pen in 3 colors, in gray, orange and blue, and they are available in 3 different trims. I chose the black. This pen is great. This is a pen that sometimes Leonardo sends me some pens for review, free of charge. I got from them a Pura orange, but before they sent me that, I bought this one from Appleboom with my own money because I wanted to have this pen. I think this is beautiful. This Pura was released before the Momento Magico, that is the current version, which has an ink window. This one doesn't have an ink window, but because it's semi-translucent, you can see the ink there. I will put links for the pens and for the review on the description of the video because I already reviewed them. This is a pen of the same size as the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande, so very nice size, very well made, very beautiful, very classy, and in this kind of material, this kind of light doesn't make it justice. I have to say it has another interesting feature, you can see it on the review, is that you can, in one of the entries of the cap, you can align the engraving here. It's a numbered edition, not limited but numbered. The engraving gets aligned with the clip and the nib is also aligned with the clip inside, which is fun. I really like these details. I think this pen is very beautiful. It feels nice on the hand. I really enjoy it. Just for comparison, because I like to compare stuff. Maybe one day I will make these videos with some writing samples, but not today, because not all of these pens are inked right now. I have here an interesting, also an anthracite color, but this one is really transparent, not this kind of frosted finish. This is the Pelikan M200 in anthracite demonstrator, but a dark one. This is not quite a demonstrator, although it is translucent but not completely transparent, but they have the same kind of color, just for comparison. Now we will go to pen number 5, and it is again an Italian pen, and this one has a beautiful design, beautiful material, and I think this pen is really well made. I really enjoy this pen for several reasons. If you ask me, this kind of pointy shape is my favorite, I'm not sure, but I love this Tibaldi. So Tibaldi, Italian pen, and the pen is called Tibaldi Bononia Martini Olive. This pen has one of those spaghetti spaghetti acrylics or stacked acrylic resins that make this kind of reflection. This pen is beautiful. The material of this pen is just beautiful. When I show you this pen, I have to bring here my Parker Centennial Dufold green check. When they are put together, you can see that the Tibaldi is bigger, which is kind of amazing. And I brought them because I think both have very beautiful, yet different, completely different, but different resins in shades of green, of olive green. I think they are really great. So when you look at this pen is very simple. You have no rings on the top of the cap or on the barrel, just 3 rings going together here on the bottom of the cap. You have this clip that is very tight, and when you uncap, there is some magic happening here, in my opinion. And that magic happens because of several different reasons. Let's go for one of those. One is this. This is an ebonite feed, and I think that ebonite feeds make nibs wetter, or at least they provide a more consistent ink flow to the nib, and I really like that. Another thing is the converter. It takes cartridges or converters, and the converter screws in place. So when you're filling the pen, there is no risk of letting the nib and section fall into the ink bottle. That is another detail that I like. Finally, or not finally, but almost finally, we have the nib that has the Tibaldi engraving. It's not very spectacular, but it is a number 6 nib, and it is very, very well tuned. Even as a fine nib, it works greatly with the ebonite feed, and it has no flexibility. You can have almost any line variation, but it is so pleasant to use. It's so well made. I think it's really amazing. Another characteristic it has is that the cap is a little larger than the barrel. Yes, of course, because they made this. You have a section that is of the same diameter as the barrel, and this is a very nice thing because you can hold it. You can even hold it over the threads because they are not sharp, and you can hold the pen wherever you want, and it is thick. This pen is very, 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 very good. I really like it, and when I think of it, I wonder why it is only in number 5. But as I told you, it depends on the day. This could be number 1 easily in some other day. I will put it today in number 5, and it's really well made. And for an Italian pen, it's not that expensive. So, of course, it has a steel nib, but it's not that expensive. Not cheap, but not that expensive. Now, we go to number 4, and we will stay in Italy. So, lots of Italian pens, as I told you. And this Italian pen is a modern one again. So, I have no vintage pens in this list. Only the Duquesa, which is not vintage, but it is vintage inspired. We have this Aurora Duocart in yellow. This is a modern pen. I really love the Aurora. And if you watch my videos, you will say that I didn't get this pen in 2021, but in last year. Yes, but I got it in December, so I didn't have the time to include it in the top of last year, but it is on the top for 2021. It has so many things that I like. First, it is a cartridge converter pen. This one does not screw in place, but it is a cartridge converter pen, which is something that I like. It has a weight inside the barrel that gives it an extra weight. It has this hooded nib that I used to find ugly, but they have some charm to it, and they improved the feed from the older version. It has a black section, hooded nib, and the pen writes so well. It is so well balanced, so simple. Let's imagine you are a writer and you have such a pen like this. This doesn't take that much ink inside, so this one takes more, so you should be able to be changing it frequently. You have different feel to use the pen, it is flexible and so on. This one is not. It's a very simple modern pen that works greatly. This is the kind of pen that I call a writer's pen because You can write with it for hours and very comfortably. It even posts securely and deeply, so it is made to be posted, but if you don't want, you cannot. You can choose not to. And this is a great pen. It's only available with steel nib, with medium nib, but it is so great. This pen is amazing, and this is a pen that I bought last year after some years ago, after I tried the previous version of this Aurora Dual Card that is now improved. Another thing that I have to say is that I like pens that are inspired in vintage models. This is the Aurora 2-card K, which means it's also a dual card. It has quite a similar shaped section actually. It is also a cartridge converter pen, which is fun. These cartridges are no longer made, and I have to say that I have this Aurora, but this one could be on its place because this pen is really good. I only got it this year, and it was so fun to try to find out all the details about this edition. And I like pens that have an history, and this one comes after this one. Not really after this one. This comes more after the 88 dual card, which is more similar in design, but they have the same kind of concept, and you can find similarities mostly on the section. And because they both take cartridges, these are two wonderful pens. This could be on the top 12, but I chose to have this one instead. Really, really great pen. I really like the Aurora Dual Card, and if someone asks me if they should get one, I would say yes. Of course, it's always such a personal decision, but I would say yes, the Dual Card is a really good pen. If you don't want flex, if you don't want line variation, if you don't want different nibs, if you just want to have a pen to write for hours, this is perfect. And now let's go for the top 3. And the first pen of the top 3 is the last Italian pen. It is the Santini Libra Olive. This is a pen from the brand where is that? From the brand Santini Italia, and this is the Libra version. It is a very interesting pen. It is a piston filler with very strong clip, but it has this little wheel there. It has the recessed cap band. I did not review this one yet. I will soon. So it is a very nice pen. I chose it in acrylic, so it has this material. If you change the cap a little bit, you'll find that this lighter part aligns the cap with the barrel. It's a beautiful material, also with the blind cap like this. It looks nice. I think this pen looks really, really nice. I really like it. They make many pens in ebonite, which are much nicer in looks than this one. They are also more expensive, but I really prefer this one, so I got this one. I really prefer this acrylic over ebonite because I think it will be more resistant, and I really like it. And the pen has another attractive stuff in it, which is it has a proprietary nib. Also the Aurora that I showed it has, but this nib is made by Santini. It has the S there in 1998. It is a rhodium plated gold nib. And you can choose to have an ebonite feed if you want. You pay a little extra and you have the ebonite feed. You got a gold nib. This pen was available in gold trim. I asked them if it could be with chrome trim. They said yes, of course. We just assemble it with gold trim. They have these rhodium plated nibs, so you can really have the pen the way you want it, the way you like it, and it makes lots of sense. And you choose the feed, and you can choose lots of nibs that they make. And they also make a flexi nib and a super flexi nib, which is amazing. Of course, because I am a very boring guy, I just bought the fine, the regular fine, the hard fine nib, because I like fine nibs. This pen is really amazing. Just to show you, I have another pen that I like a lot. This is my Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Sand, which is a beautiful color, not quite comparable with that one. This is more on the gray side, this one is more on the green side, and you can see that the Santini is just maybe 2 millimeters shorter than the Leonardo. Both are piston fillers, both are very nice pens, but in this price range, Santini has gold nib, which is a fun thing if you prefer gold nibs. Sometimes we like to have it. I don't think for me it makes such a difference. Maybe if we were buying a pen that had the flexi or the super flexi nib, obviously it would have to be with a gold nib. But for my use, I like to have gold nib. I think it's nice to know it's gold, but I don't really use all those properties of a gold nib. So this Santini Italia Libra Olive, beautiful, well-made pen, I'm really impressed, is number 3. And now for the second pen, we are going for the second Japanese, the second pilot pen of the day. And this one, yes, it is vintage or older, if we don't want to call it vintage, a pen from the 70s. This is the Pilot Mio, or Murex, some people call it like that, Pilot Mio 701. This is a short pocket pen by Pilot, but it is the iconic Mio, which posts like this and becomes this perfect shaped pen. I really like the way the clip integrates into the cap. It's nice and springy. And then you have this long section and integral nib with just a little hole there, but the nib is part of the section. So we have kind of a regular Japanese pocket pen, but with this kind of nib. I think this is one of the most beautiful pen designs ever as a pocket pen. However, today we are talking about how some brands copy some others. Mostly we talk about Japanese pens copying some European pens, but in the past European pens copied American pens and all the combinations possible. This pen is really inspired in this one. This is another amazing pen. This is the legendary, I would say this is a pair of legendary pens. This is the Parker, you have the logo inside that red jewel. This is the Parker T1, made of titanium, and it has this integral nib, which is very beautiful. It has a big difference from the Pilot. First, the material, one is steel, the other one is titanium. Titanium looks better. To me, the color is nicer. This one has a much longer section because this is the concept of the Japanese pocket pens, and shorter barrel because it's a pocket pen. This has a longer barrel and a shorter section. This one has a little thing there to retain the cap. This one has there. Even the kind of mechanism is the same. Both are cartridge converter pens. The biggest difference between the Pilot and the Parker T1 is that the Parker came first, so they created a titanium pen with an integral nib, so It's really nice. They had a screw there to adjust the ink flow, or the space between the tines of the pen, which is an amazing feature. I wouldn't dare to use it, but it's there. So when you look at the nibs, they are a little different. There is more room from the breather hole to the tip than on the Pilot, but both are beautiful pens. The Pilot is meant to be posted, the T1 can be posted and is beautiful posted or unposted. I think these two pens are perfect designs, very comparable in terms of its design, although the concepts are slightly different. I think that this integral nib reminds me of a quill, and I think this is perfect. So this is the only older pen that is on this top 12, and it is number 2 because it is so iconic. And by the way, it writes well. And now we will go to the number 1 of the top 12 of the first half of the year. I wonder how I will make the total of the year. It will be very hard to do unless I don't buy pens in the second half, or I'm not sure how I can do it. So the first pen, the top pen of all these, is this wooden pen. This is the Pentel Samurai Ironwood. This is a pen made in Czech Republic by Teo, which is from Romania, and he makes pens out of ebonite, some other materials, plastic materials like resins, and also from wood. This pen is made of ironwood, and all the idea of this pen is amazing. It is ironwood, so a specific tree from Arizona in the United States. It comes as a bar, and then it is turned, and the pen then takes an amazing amount of work putting urushi on top of the pen. So this is a wooden pen, but when you hold the pen, you don't think it is wood. It is some other kind of material. I would say this is an urushi pen, not a wood pen. And I think the pen is amazing. It is so nice. You can see the wood grain beneath the urushi. The urushi, by the way, is now more transparent than it was when I got it. It gets better with age. And then you have steel nib, also the same. If I have to say something, I would say it doesn't have the Pentel logo there. It should have, in my opinion, but now they are available with that logo if you buy gold nibs, so you can do that and they will come with, but only the gold nibs. This one is a steel nib. It was a gift from Theo. He gave me this pen for review, and it has an ebonite section that has another urushi technique, which is kind of brushed and with some gold colored speckles. It is a beautiful pen. It is a cartridge converter pen, now without ink, and it has a number 6 Yovo nib. It is a large pen. Mostly it is very thick. It doesn't post, but I think it is so nice to have such a big pen. It's not very heavy, and it is beautiful. It is beautiful. I cannot show you enough. You have the description. In the description I'll leave the link for the review I made, and also the link for Pentel store. I already had this Pentel from maybe last year or 2 years ago. This is the Bonita Oversized Black, which is a pen made of ebonite, which is nice also. But when you compare the design of the look or the feel of an ebonite pen with a pen of wood and urushi, it's totally different. Maybe ebonite pen with urushi is also totally different. So these pens are different. This one has a different concept because it can be eyedroppered. This one cannot, made of wood, made of ebonite. And the shapes are a little different. The section is different. I like this section much better. The shape of the barrel is different, the shape of the cap is different, even the length. If you ask me again, yes, this pen is amazing. And why? Is that the best pen for a writer? Maybe it's not. I will come again to the Aurora. I really enjoy this pen to write, for everyday writing, to write a lot. But this pen is so well made, so well tuned, the nib is perfect, that I would say that this pen is kind of a jewel without thinking of a fancy pen with fancy materials that are very, very expensive, like gold and... No, it is wood with urushi, and most of its value is on its work, on the work that that Theo had to put to make this pen. So it's kind of a matter of love. You can do this pen if you don't love the process. And if you understand the process and how many steps there are behind a pen like this, you'll be amazed. And so you understand how precious this kind of pen is. It writes really well, it doesn't have a clip, so it's not really a pen to take with you somewhere, but I would say this is the best pen for some personal letters, because this pen is kind of precious, and this pen is the #1 in my top 12, at least for this first half of the year. So it was a very good first half. I am amazed. I can, when I hold the pen, I cannot stop touching it. I just want to show it next to the Santini, so you can see it is a little shorter, but not much. It is a big pen, and it is so beautiful. I really like it. I really like it, and I think this one will deserve a gold nib with Theo's logo there, because I think it is beautiful. So this was my top 12 for the first half of 2021. In December or January, I will show you the top pens of the second half of the year, and then I will do the overall of 2021. Let's see what the future will bring. So far, these were the most amazing pens that I was able to use this year. So this is all I had to show you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will meet again soon. Bye.